plenty of room, and nothing in the way. Line that, keep on that. The next step is to basically burn that in. Your form is everything. The spindle needs to get straight up and down. Your wrist locked against your leg so that nothing is moving. And you take your turn, keep your bow level to the ground, because if it's pointed up or down, that string is going to wander up and down and upset you. Now just that little bit right there is beginning to create char. It's beginning to smell like it's hot. Now what I want to do now is just simply speed up, not applying a lot of pressure more. Just speed up, get it smoking.
Make it look easy, don't it?
Now we got a little bit of smoke there. I'm gonna call that fairly well burned in. Don't touch yourself with the end of that stick. Because that end of that stick will burn you. What you're doing in this process is you're elevating, you're creating that char. But in order for that char that you're going to be creating, in order for it to ignite, combust, and begin to smolder, you're actually elevating the temperature up to somewhere like 800, 850 degrees doing this. Once you've got that burned in, you have to do your notching work. Some people do it with a saw. I always just use my knife. You know, I feel a whole lot safer with doing that, because my knife's sharp. But I don't know if I'd rather be cut with a dull knife or a sharp knife. You know?
They both hurt the same.
I don't think I want to be cut through.
I don't either.
The sharp knife won't hurt you bad.
Yeah. When you're cutting that notch in, you want, remember thirds. You want it to be about a third as wide as the spindle hole. Now notice that what the burned in area, that's really not quite a third of the spindle, because that spindle hadn't quite burned all the way down in there. But it got me a good mark to give me an idea of where I'm working, what I'm working on. I get my top V, I go to the bottom side. What are the three elements required for fire? Oxygen, fuel, heat. Ignition, heat. So one of the things with the friction fire, oxygen is extremely important in getting it to that little pile of char that you're making. If you don't have an adequate oxygen flow, you can create enough smoke to choke a mule. You can create enough char, but as long as the oxygen's not flowing to it, it won't combust. And what you're doing, you're burning a lot of calories. So rather than going a third on the top, I'll make this bottom part a little bit wider, because I want to ensure that I've got plenty of oxygen getting to that pile of char that I'm about to create. another thing about this friction fire business, y'all. Two things about it. Number one, it's fun. It gives you a sense of accomplishment to be able to take a couple of sticks and rub them together and make a fire. That's fun. And the other thing is, in the event of a long-term survival scenario, matches run out, big lighters run out, ferro rods run out. As long as you, flint and steel, modern flint and steel, you know, in order of longevity, where fire making practices are concerned, your matches are the first to go, your big lighters, right up there with your matches. Primitive flint and steel, like Doug is working on with the char cloth, that sort of thing, that is a much more long-term type of fire-making source. This, if you've got a knife and cordage, and you can make cordage from roots, bark, anything, you've got a means to create a fire. You've got a means to increase the life of other fire-making resources, to conserve your matches, to conserve your big lighters. As long as the woods aren't as wet as they are right now, if things are dry, you can easily do this. And if I was not talking while doing this, you can, once you've located your materials, it only takes 15 or 20 minutes to build a fire set for your bow drill. Now, I'm going to assume that I'm going to build a fire. I'm going to assume that I'm going to get a fire going here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build me a bird's nest. This is some palm bark that I picked up down south. I'm going to throw a little grass and a little bit of pine straw in here. I'm going to put a little birch bark in there and build me a little bird's nest, a little tinder bark. And I'm going to do this assuming, believing that I'm about to get a ember, but there's something I need. I need something to catch that ember on. Piece of cardboard, yeah. Thank you, Robert. Okay. So here we go. I gotta catch that ember on something. This one, what I do always, I like to use a curved bow. I like a bow. I don't like a straight stick. You can use a straight stick, but you've got to be sure that once you twist this end into the string, then your spindle is on the outside and not in here. Otherwise, you're binding it up, creating friction. How long does your bowstring last? I've been sawing on this one for a year, and it's still going. And that's a piece of number 36 bank line that I made that out of tarred bank line. Now, one of the things too, which side of the hearth board to put that notch. I like it to be on the side facing me, because what I'm gonna do, once that begins to smoke, once I start seeing smoke, smelling smoke, I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop until I see smoke coming off of that pile that I've created. Well, here we go.
Smoky, smoky.
I believe we've got a coal going there, y'all. And I tell you, I burned a bunch of calories just then. Delicately, gently. Lord, between running my mouth and pumping that bow drill right there, I think I've burnt 3,000 calories today. Now,
See if you can push the button this time.
with your char cloth or charred punk wood, you can blow pretty hard on there and you're okay. This is a real fine powder, and you have to blow delicately on there. And one of the things, I see people that just dump their pile in there. I like to lay it in there gently and assist it in with my knife or a twig, anything that will, because I don't want to destroy that little pile of stuff there. Now, I need to be where I can put this on something.
Right here, right here.
Oh, good deal. Now, you don't have to be in a big hurry. You let that little pile warm up.
Wow.
Oh, love it.
Save your life.
Take him out.
All right.
Woo!